It's wonderful, wonderful music. I'm just taking it in. Now, to see if I'm actually live. I am. So there you go. The whole world can see my shenanigans. That's okay. Let's put that at 1440p. Just like that. And then just gotta set a few things up because it's complicated. Gotta get ready before the millions of people just start flooding in, crashing the internet. Nobody can handle that kind of traffic. So it's World of Warcraft, the Burning Crusade Classic Anniversary. And it's good times, being live through the power of the internet. Okay, now let me try something. Let me just get into it. Okay, so where am I now? It's funny because the few people that do watch me, they have no idea about anything about the game. So I'm always like, oh, so look at where I'm at on the map, like anybody even fucking knows what it means. They don't. But, just in that unlikely event, I'm in Arathi Highlands, right over here in the Eastern Kingdoms. Maybe someday I'll actually reach Outlands, which is the expansion that came out not too terribly long ago. I have been playing some quite fun games as of late. WWE 2K26, Icarus, Crimson Desert, Toxic Commando, Resident Evil Requiem. The list goes on, and then I wonder why I have no fucking money. I've been enjoying them all, but as I've always said, or however, I've always said, this game, it's like a cup of coffee, or a beer, or a joint, whatever it is you're into. By the fireplace, just relaxing. It's cozy, it's comfortable. One of the rare times I will use the word cozy. That shit's gotta stop. It gets overused. So we'll see what's up. I've got my Pink Yeti with my 10-calorie no-alcoholic beer. Oh, it's delicious. And then I've got the Silver Bullet. What is this? I almost forgot what it was. My Diet Root Beer. A&W. I like how in big white letters underneath the live chat, it says goal. It's the same it's always been. Just to have fun. And it's been 9 days since I've had the pleasure of streaming on the internet. I guess I was sick as a goddamn dog. I couldn't talk. I had no voice. I felt like I always had to yell. I felt like I'm still a bit in a yelling phase. Heal up, Paladin.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, so I'm just doing a whole bunch of nutting. Yeah, fuck, we don't need that shit. And then what's gonna happen is pretty simple.
Have a good one.
I'll probably treat myself, maybe get Slay the Spire too, because why not buy another goddamn game again? No such thing as having too many. At least the worst is over now. I'm done that little cave that's to the east of Hammerfall. We're done with that. I went in the cave there, met another fellow druid. I was able to say, hey, do you mind inviting me? Didn't talk to me, nothing, which is fine. Not everybody wants the small chat. And then that was it. Hopefully I don't have to do the Faldir's Cove thing with the pirates and the Yar and all that shit. But I'll see how it goes. May end up having to do it. It's weird. There's always going to be some regions and some quest lines, even if they don't do anything wrong, where I just don't want to partake in it. I don't want to do nothing. At this point, Don't tempt me. I'll slap the 75 dineros on the credit card, and I'll boost this bitch boy's ass to 58. Just so I can get to Outlands, but I don't have enough musk money to be pissing around like that. Maybe someday. If the stream keeps up the way it is, whew, there's literally no telling how far I can go. Now then, I am gonna do something. Stream setting. Just to make sure. It is, in fact, on public. That's good. Because, you know, the last time, it wasn't public. Apparently somebody came in, they got overwhelmed, and they left. They were in for like less than a minute, and they said, no, I can't do it. I'm laughing so hard, I'm gonna get a hernia. I don't have the health insurance to cover that. I gotta step out. And it's understandable. Whoa. Look at this guy. Kashmir. He's burning up. So let's hook him up. See, I got a fucking maze too. Bonk right in the head. Smack that shit. It's probably gonna be like, what the hell's wrong with that guy? Oh, fuck. Oh, I make myself laugh sometimes. But because he cleared out all these little, shit stain... Oh, would you stop? I spoke too soon. For the most part, they're all cleared out. Yeah. Just piss off already. It's not forest fire season. Wildfire season. Whatever it's called. The burning key. Now we get to turn it in. Oh yeah, over there. Yeah, I remember that. And that's Hillsbrad right over there. And then the hinterlands just up above us. Yeah, well.
Yes.
It's a different type of crowd, I'm telling you. You wouldn't really understand. I'm just going to get rid of this banner here. I'll just talk to myself. We'll say hi. There we go. If you happen to be in here, you say hi. It's nice, only because I'm legitimately curious to see that my chat is working. Normally, like I said, there's millions of people in here. There's so much typing going on. It stutters the internet, right? It just lags like crazy, and so I just want to make sure. Now we're just warming up. Yeah, so it's been 9 days since I streamed. Didn't feel like that long ago already, but then again, what's 9 days when I went like 3 fucking years without streaming? 3 years, 9 days, really not that big of an issue. But like I said, I love it, I love it, I love it. It's good times. Gotta go down here. Let's see. I'm gonna try and see if I could sneak in. I don't want to do that too often, though, where I just sneak by everything. Because then you're getting less XP, right? Like, overall, throughout the course of time when you're leveling up. Then I won't end up just being a couple of levels, above the enemies, right? Like, it could just make a difference. I still don't know if elementals have changed over time. Where now they're able to bleed. was almost 100% sure that that was not a thing before. But now it's like, if you breathe, too bad. What does it want me to do? Follow the path through the mountains. Oh no! No, it's doing it. Oh, that's no good. Remember the yar yar pirate thing I told you? I don't want to do it. Holy shit. Those buzzard. Would you stop? I'll kick you in the rock cock. Keep that shit up. Those buzzards used to be hostile. But I guess people were complaining that we're sneaking through, that the vultures were hostile. Gee, who would have thought? Holy shit, it's like an anorexic thrasher. Anyhow, that's the only thing that I could think of, because it's super rare for an enemy to just... Wow, there you go. That leveled me up. Bear with me for one moment. That was at, whatchamacallit. Level am I now? 42. Okay, it does want me to, but yeah. I know what I'm doing, but I'm consulting my calculator. Okay. 2 points and then 1 point. Okay, okay. So we do max this out. Then it's going to be 2 points in survival of the fittest and then predatory instincts. I capiche. Okay. Let's see what happens here. The slow road to 58. Feels good. I'm catching up to my actual age here. Yeah, so it could just be like from the water, from the other side. Not all the enemies in this zone are like 38, 37, 38. So they could have just been like, you know what? Let's just make these passive. Let's make them bitch birds, and that's it. Then practically every elite in the overworld, they have been normalized. They're no longer elites. Well, that's a glitch they've never fixed. You could tell that through the ground, that bush is growing through. It's clipping through. Something that's actually very rare for this game. For like those little details. Okay, so maybe it's common. Just give me a second. Yeah, I don't know why I don't like doing this quest. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I can't explain it other than it's just the feeling that it gives me. Really, that's what it is. And it's just like, eh. And then I just don't want to do it. 66 Dwarf Hunter. Welcome to this version of WoW, though, where essentially... Hey, how's it going? I'm doing okay. Could be worse. Could be better. Could be the same. Yeah. I am recovering from being sick. That thing that never happens to me. I'm at a point where I could talk a lot better. However, I still gotta not get too cocky, because if I go outside and it's cold or something like that, right? And, you know, you're breathing in all the fresh air, right? It could get me into going into a coughing fit. And then I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I'm like almost wheezing. But it doesn't hurt. So, fever's gone, all that sort of stuff. Doing great, just got back from Comic-Con, had a blast, such a great experience. Oh, nice. I've never been to a Comic-Con in my whole life.
Greetings.
I'm assuming you got to meet some celebrities and stuff like that. I think that's the idea behind those. Sometimes wrestlers show up to those. Captain Steelgut.
What's that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told him about me, how I play the guitar and I'm a superstar. I met Corey Taylor. Yeah, told him how much the band helped me through pain. Smile, told him tragedy with the grandma and uncle. He said, I'm so sorry, man. And he stopped at Saturday. Oh, that's cool. Not obviously that you met Corey. Yeah, it's really neat. Yeah, I've never, like I said, really ever had the chance to do anything like that. I may have mentioned some of the celebrities that I've met in my life. When you live in Canada,
Alrighty then. Pleased
Oh.
to meet you.
it's a little bit different. There's gonna naturally be a lot less instances for such things. I mean, it could still happen. I'll tell you in just a second. Oh, nice. And my poster. Vinyl. He was generally one of the coolest guys. Took his time and talked with fans. I got my photo with him. Nice. I'm still recovering. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I met a guy that most people would not know. But he was famous. Maybe just not like Justin Bieber famous. You know, where everybody knows the guy's name. But at the time, yeah, holy shit. They probably would have, actually. His name was Richard Kiel. K-I-E-L. He's dead now. God rest his soul. He was an actor in the original James Bond from the 1960s. The OG James Bond. He played one of the bad guys called Jaws. Not the movie Jaws, but the character Jaws, because he had a big metal mouth. Dude was almost like 8 feet tall. Made the great Khali look like a... I was gonna say the M word. I don't even know if that's allowed anymore. Because, you know, the world we live in, so naturally all these words just come out. Tiny people. Look like an elf. Richard Kiel would make the great Khali... Not really, it's figure of speech. Would make the great Khali look like a tiny elf. And he had the big metal mouth. So if you ever type in James Bond, Jaws, all one word, and you look at the picture of the guy, you'll see what I was talking about. And I was a kid in the shopping center, big massive shopping center in Montreal. Montreal's known to have a few celebrities pass through over the years. And basically, we were in a store, big massive store, and he just walked by. My mom was, you know, 10 feet, 20 feet ahead of me. I would have been... Well, this was 1987. So I was 9 years old. 9 years old. And he walked by. And like I said, this guy's like 7 foot, almost 8 feet tall. And the way I looked at him, he knew that I knew who he was. And he winked. And he smiled and he just kept walking. And for me as a 9-year-old, I knew he was an actor. I knew the character wasn't real. But that's not the point. The adrenaline or whatever. And I didn't even get to shake his hand or anything. It's not like I spoke to him and hung out with him. But it was still a crazy experience because I'm a huge James Bond fan. You get to know you know, all these characters, whatever, and then you happen to just run into one of them in real life, and they, you know, give you the little nod and the wink.
Greetings.
It's just, it was such a cool moment. And in 1993, I think, yeah, in 1993, I met Bret the Hitman Hart. I think I may have mentioned that one before. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I met Bret Hart at a Walmart. Yeah, in 93 when I was living in Newfoundland. And that was really cool because I got his autograph. There was no iPhones back then, naturally. So, wasn't able to get like a selfie with him. Carrying Cross. Oh, yeah, for sure. But yeah, Bret Hart was really cool. And then I was sneaky. I stuck around until the end when all the kids and all the other people were done, you know, getting their autographs and stuff. And I just briefly just chatted with him on his way out. And I just said, I hope I'm not, you know, bothering you. I'm just so, like, oh my God kind of thing. And it's like, no, that's fine. So I just spoke to him for a couple minutes. Again, just super great guy. That was definitely a lot of fun. Oh yeah, Maven. Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel that's doing pretty good. Sergeant Slaughter, I have spoken with probably more than any other superstar when it comes to the wrestling business. Sergeant Slaughter and Karrion Kross are the top two that have directly responded to me multiple times. Yeah. They're great. Good experiences. Do you happen to know who Dan Aykroyd is? From the OG Ghostbusters from the 80s. And from, of course, a plethora, excuse me, of other movies. Click the main and brown book, middle floor of the sunken ship. Okay. Let's get that out of the way first. This book that I gotta find on a ship. Middle floor, okay. Yeah, Dan Aykroyd. You get a chat someday. Oh shit, we've been spotted. Anyhow, I met him at a local bar in the early 2000s when he was a little bit younger and I was a little bit younger. This guy is like famous. Like, I'm talking... Actually, to this day, Dan Aykroyd is probably the single biggest celebrity that I have ever come across and actually, like, spoke with and sat down with and had a drink and chatted for whatever, like a good hour kind of thing. Yeah, that's right. Now, where's the book? I just gotta make sure I get this first. Yeah, Ernie Hudson was there. His line was very long. I only wanted to meet her. Yeah. Oh, Samus drowned. So anyways, what was funny about the Dan Aykroyd thing, if you could picture this, just picture like, you know, like Keanu Reeves, whatever, someone that's very active in Hollywood right now, walking into a bar, a small bar, not like a psycho-sized bar, like a bar the size of like a bookstore or something like that, a small bookstore. And you see this guy, whoever he is, and he's only got 2 friends with him. And famous as hell. Like, I mean, I could spot this guy from across the city. And then all of a sudden, I just say, quietly, I'm not here to bother you, but holy shit. Like, wow, I'm just like, you know, I'm a huge fan, and I hope you have a great night. And he goes, no. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. But at the same time, let us not tell the whole bar who's here. And he winked again. Because he obviously wanted to keep it on the down low. He was enjoying the fact that he's a huge celebrity. And that nobody seems to know who he is. So anyways, him and I chatted for a very long time. He ended up ignoring his two friends. They were just talking to each other. So that was fucking awesome. And I also met Guy Lafleur when I was doing security in Yellowknife. People were trolling him. Oh, is that John Elway? Is that football guy? It wasn't even funny. William Shatner was there, which I want to... Oh my god! But he wasn't... Hold on, I'm gonna drown here. Not even at his booth or anything, which sucked. Oh, shit. William Shatner, don't even get me going. Oh my god. I have had the privilege on multiple occasions to have some very small back and forths and retweets from William Shatner. Holy shit. And it's funny because I've never met him. I'll never be able to meet him. Well, that and he's too old and whatever. But it's always like just so enjoyable. And that's why I think I just love social media so much, like Twitter, because it gives you a chance, an off chance to sometimes come across, meet, whatever, you know, just like Karrion Kross, right? I know of him. He follows me. We've chatted multiple times. If it wasn't for Twitter, never, ever, ever would have had all those interactions with him or anybody else for that matter. And it's cool, especially like with Sergeant Slaughter, for example, when I'm like, hey, hope you're having a great day. And he's all like, oh, Philminator, it's been a while since we've chatted, you know, hope everything's going well for you up north in Canada. You know, just little things like that. It's really cool. All right, people are coming in now by the millions. Started playing Toxic Commando. It's pretty toxic. On the PS5, and looking around is terrible on the control. Oh, well that sucks because it's amazing for me. The shittiest game in the world with a controller is the 30 FPS game Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. That thing has awful dead zone settings, even though it's got settings for them. It's just disgusting. It's as simple as that. Elijah, what? Holy fuck. Yeah. Yeah, for a Canadian, like I said, that could be a huge deal because very rare are you going to go somewhere. Oh, yeah, Elijah Wood was there. These wrestlers were there. William Shatner was there. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But with my anxiety and me getting a little too excited, I honestly probably wouldn't have been able to personally been able to enjoy it. It would have had to have been more like I run into one of them in the middle of nowhere and I just start chatting them up like I did with Dan Aykroyd. Well, because then I don't have to worry about taking anybody else's time and all this sort of shit, right? Because it was an informal thing, just like Guy Lafleur, if you know that hockey player. He sadly passed away some years ago. He used to play for multiple different NHL teams. I was doing security, like I said, and I just went to sit down, and he says, you know, if you want, you can... Nobody's sitting here. He was sitting by himself in a coffee shop in a shopping center in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories. So I was just like, absolutely. And again, we must have chatted for a good half hour, 45 minutes, just normal stuff, nothing stupid, you know. I didn't ask him for his autograph. It wasn't about that. And I just had a blast again. That was just you know, the main thing. Anyhow, so I've had like 3-4 small little memorable encounters with some celebrities over the years. And then when I was in Montreal too, I had, oh, hold on, I'll read what you're saying there. Just gotta make sure I don't end up drowning in the water here. I thought I was going to be worried, but I did great. Even talked to a bunch of the guys there. I was anxious. I wasn't anxious. Oh, that's good. It's expensive to meet these guys that paid nearly $300 to meet, like Corey, just for a foot. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. And then the way I look at it, because I'm such a selfish bastard, is if I'm paying that kind of money, I would have wanted a little bit more like one-on-one time where you get to just literally hang out with them a little bit more. Because sometimes you just get caught up in the moment is what I mean. Not that I would be doing it intentionally. And then you got to realize, you know, there's other people there. They also paid and all that sort of shit. All right. I'm looking for something. Is it really? Like that much money for real? Yeah, and fuck this bitch. There we go. I'll look in a second there. Yeah, I think what happens with certain names too, because they're so popular, the more you charge naturally, the less they're gonna get booked, so they don't get fill up as much. Could you imagine if like meeting the Undertaker was like $10 type thing, right? It would just become overwhelmingly busy. Nobody would be able to get a chance. But when it's $5,000, I mean, there's rich people out there. I know some people that could throw $5,000 like I throw $5. But I don't know a dime a dozen of them. But I do definitely know some people that are like that. Large gray stones. Where the fuck are these? I don't even know. I'm gonna have to go soon anyways. It's been about a half hour. But I'll stick around for a few more minutes here. Like I said, I just gotta pay attention that I don't drown underwater and that I turn into sea lion form. I look at celebrities as people. Yeah, just like me and you, they're human. I don't like that people treat these guys like a god. Yeah, no, I know. Sometimes, and I think maybe that's been part of my success. Meeting a couple of them and being able to chat with them for a long time is I'm just talking to them like a normal person, like somebody that is just normal. And I know that oftentimes that's one of the things that people appreciate the most. Not all the yelling and the, oh my god, look who's here. Like when Dan Aykroyd was like, can we please keep it down? I said, oh, I'll keep it down. I don't want anybody interrupting me. Right? It's just being honest. I was like, this is a chance of a lifetime. And it was just really cool because in every instance, they were always super nice. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I think it's like I've mentioned to you before for 2K26, why I have a bit of a hard time enjoying it, is mainly just time. I'm stretched out for time, even though I technically don't work. And I do this full time. All these games coming out, right? Like, we just finished Resident Evil Requiem a couple of weeks ago. Toxic Commando. Icarus just came out a couple days ago. Crimson Desert, right? Boom, 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 boom. Like this month, every Thursday, there's been a pretty significant game release. So then I got to cover them. I got to play these games for tens and tens of hours and compete with other people that are doing the same thing that have a much more socially relevant YouTube channel. So then to come back to just hang out and relax now that I've done the main videos I need to do on my channel for 2K26, I really haven't had that much of a chance to enjoy it. Let me just, it's starting to kick in now, that half-hour mark that I've mentioned, where I do end up in a lot of physical pain, and that's usually when I stop streaming or recording and I just get up. I haven't even played Universe Mode yet in 2K26. I haven't had a chance. I'm still going through the Ring Pass. I'm at like level 36 of 40. I'm still working through my Stars and My Rise to unlock DDP, Big Papa Pump, and Burnt Bray Wyatt. Once I have everybody that I want and nobody's gated away from me, then I will finally play Universe Mode. Then I'll do my video breakdown on what it looks like. By then, most of the hype is gone. And I get that. Most people have already talked about it. Assemble, BDE, Small Afro. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry has talked about Universe Mode. I haven't even had a chance to load it up, you know? But I do like the game. The moment-to-moment actions, now that they've fixed the logic with the referees, which was a glitch we had from prior games. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It seems to be getting dunked on really hard, but the reasons are valid, because every time I see somebody like, oh, this fucking game, you know, can't change my attire, or the music disappeared. Like, it's always something. People aren't just saying it's shit for the sake of saying it's shit. They always have like a valid backup story as to what's making it a shitty experience for them. So it's hard to knock them for it. I've talked to Corey Graves like I've known for years. I wasn't freaking... Yeah, just talked to him about as much as... You got... Blah, blah. How much you got through to me with his music. What's your thoughts on Danhausen? Yeah. So, that I covered in a video. The Danhausen thing. And it's pretty simple. So, at a excuse me, you can tell my voice is still a little bit raspy there. Let me just go into sea line form so I don't drown again. Where the fuck are these stones? Okay, I'll do that while I ignore the chat for a minute, and I'll tell you about Danhausen. So yeah, so when we got the hype about who's in the box, blah, 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 and it was Danhausen, I absolutely was like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? I already knew who he was. But for a hype, I wanted it to be like fucking Chris Jericho, not Dan fucking Hausen. No offense. So in that moment, I was just like, all that built-up hype for nothing. But then he makes his appearance on a regular show. Backstage with The Miz. You are cursed, and blah, 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 blah. And I want the Hall of Fame. Just the way he talks, right? Guy doesn't even need to wrestle. He's entertaining. He's funny. He's got that little gimmick thing going on, and when him and R-Truth are going at it, and you're people like The Miz that can offer the comedic relief, I think it's great for the backstage stuff, because for me, sometimes some of the greatest moments during a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown is what the hell is going on backstage. Sometimes it's not even what the hell's going on in the middle of the ring. So I think he's one of those rare great additions, just like Santino Marella, R-Truth, even now The Miz. He's got his moments where he can be funny. Yeah, so I think he's fine. I know, I was wondering when you would, get to Universe Mode also. That My Rise career has not been enjoyable. They're forcing you to play matchup. Yeah, and, you know, I feel torn. Oh no, I'm being forced to play a game and go through it to unlock stuff. Like Resident Evil. That I understand. Ah, you want unlimited ammo? Well, guess what, punk ass? You're gonna have to beat the game. Alright, fine. It gives you something to work towards. I get that. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but a sports game. A sports game. There's no story. I mean, there is in my eyes, but I just mean, just win the fucking match. It's a lot different than something like Resident Evil, but it's still a game, and they want you to go through unlocking all the superstars. But to me, it's like hiding a certain gun from a game completely, because these different superstars, it could just end up being a lot of fun to just have the full roster at your disposal. And I think it should just be as simple as, it's your prerogative if you want to unlock everything just like you used to be able to do before. You used to be able to do this shit before. This isn't anything new. What's new is not being able to do it. So, a little bit of a grind, fine, but it's several hours doing it the normal way. Then they nerf it. And they nerf it, and they don't like how people are getting ahead. So yeah, I think it's just fucking dumb, because like I said, I'm 30, 40 hours in already in 2K26, and I don't even have all the superstars unlocked yet. I can't even properly do my universe mode. I could do it temporarily and then wait till later till I get the last 3 or 4 superstars that I want. Then I can just sub them out with people I don't like as much, because I don't want to overbloat my roster. I tend to only do, believe it or not, around 18 to 20 superstars per show. So like 18 or 19 on Raw, about 19 on SmackDown. 9 times 2, you need 2 people to go one-on-one. That's 18. That's the 9 matches. That way, every week, everybody gets a fucking slice of the pie. That's why I set up my universe mode the way that it is. Most people wouldn't do that, and that's fine, right? But yeah, so that's what's, you know, bugging me. And then, of course, like I said, because I'm so strapped for time, well, it's going to take me twice as long as a normal person to unlock all the characters and shit like that. So it's annoying for sure. Wow, this is just not fun. I know what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for these stupid stones. I think I remember something. Hold on. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. Okay, give me a second here. Questy. No, that's not what I want to do. Bingo. Okay. So now I've turned off objective. Okay. Now when I look at the top right, I should see a yellow dot over where one of the stones are, instead of having to like swim through the water and actually visually look. See? There's one there. As long as there isn't some jabroni dingus that's gonna go and collect it, but you see how clear that is. Oh, it's in the same spot I had the other one. No, fuck you, I'm getting a stone. Ah, you bitch. Is Blink-182 your favorite band of all time? I know you talk about them a lot. No, I don't mind them. They're not one of my favorite bands. I talk about them a lot because I blink 182 fucking times a minute. So I always make the joke, if you know the band, I should be the front man of that band. I mean, I sing, I play guitar, and I blink 182 times a minute on average. There's just me being goofy. That's why I mention them a lot. I don't even know that I'm going to finish this quest while I'm streaming, to be honest, because it's already been 45 minutes. But I'm having fun. I'm starting to lose my voice big time, though. I can I could feel that I'm like really straining my voice there. I could have sworn I saw, because I could hear down below there's a warrior questing, so he's probably looking to do this as well. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll probably get like another 1 or 2, and then I'll just log out right here. I'm not in a rush to to go through all my quests here. It's more about just having fun. I had to resub to the game. Hadn't played in like a week. Because like I said, this game is just relaxing for me. Overhated. Oh, yeah. She's one of my favorite female superstars of all time. Ever. Along with Charlotte Flair. I think where Rhea gets... Oh, seriously? Where Rhea gets a lot of hate, though. And I'm not going to argue with people about how they feel on it, because it's a pretty serious subject. But she has liked and gave thumbs ups and has laughed at posts in the past that were racist. Now, she was younger, all this sort of stuff, right? And then all this came up to surface. She may or may not have apologized for... I don't know. So if somebody's offended by that, I'm not going to argue with somebody about if they're offended about something that was said racially about them. That's not my place to do that. So if that's the reason, then to me they have every right to feel disappointed the way they do, especially if they never heard of a formal apology. You know, like PewDiePie has done before when he said the N-word a couple of times on stream and it just kind of slipped out and he's like, oops, I didn't mean that in a bad way. Just like Hulk Hogan said the N-word. I gotta be careful what I say here so I don't get canceled. But to me, it takes a lot more than just a couple of words, even if those words are incredibly nasty, to actually truthfully be a racist. I think there's a huge difference between being a racist and being racially insensitive. I think there's a huge difference. You don't know what a person is thinking in their heart, in their soul, towards another ethnic group. You don't know that. You could say, well, I heard him crack a joke. That doesn't mean he's holding actual hatred in his heart. Look at all stand-up comedians and people that do battle raps. Are they fucking praising each other? They're making fun of each other. Just like Big Papa Pump, when he followed me last week. He said, you're locked in, Philminator. You're doing the work. Not bad for a snow Mexican. Right? Because I'm from up north. And he said, I normally don't deal with people from Mexico North. I thought that shit was hilarious. But some people will get offended by that because they get offended by every goddamn thing. Right? Yeah. So I've always been pretty clear on that, and talking about wrestling and Hogan. I think Hogan's the best example to talk about right now because everybody knows what that entails. And again, it's that whole thing where I didn't see a repeat in behavior. I saw an apology. Whether you felt it was sincere or not isn't the point. You look at actual actions, behavior over the course of time. And just like Roddy Piper said before Piper himself passed away, he said, nah, man, Hogan's not racist. Right? So again, a lot of people will dislike Hogan. But if that's the reason why, I don't argue with that. And in return, you hope that they don't argue with you for why you're not mad, for why you don't hate who they hate, right? And that's how you do the whole thing of agreeing to disagree. And then I just leave it at that. And that's why I think for the most part, overall in life, I've done pretty decent with talking to people from both sides, whether it's politics, wrestling. Oh, should Chris Benoit be in the Hall of Fame? Oh, but look at what he did. Oh, but it was potentially brain damage, out of character. Oh, but what if it, boom, boom. Constantly going back and forth. Can we separate the art from the artist and that sort of stuff? I mean, I do it just because there's such real wacky shit that goes on in the world. I ain't got time to start nitpicking and hating. But what about Logan Paul? I heard you say you really like him as a wrestler. But what about that time he was in Japan? What about it? What about the fucking time in Japan? Tell me about it. Well, he did that thing. And I go, yeah, and did I fucking say that I liked what he did? Did I say, oh, I hope he does that again? No. He apologized. He showed humility. And he showed actual disgust with himself when I think it was The Rock and The Undertaker that were giving Logan Paul the cold shoulder because of his fiasco in Japan. The Rock didn't want to have anything to do with him, and Logan Paul admitted that bugged him. It bothered him. Well, that showed growth. That showed character, maturity, whatever word you want to use. So Logan Paul, for me, is a good example because he's somebody that I went from absolutely loathing with a passion that burns brighter than 1,000 suns to I'm probably one of his biggest fans. Right? As you could tell, I'm coming to the end of the stream. I can't even say Chris Benoit was one of my favorites. Snowflake's World, man. Yeah. If Vince and WWE cared and took care of wrestlers, Chris Benoit wouldn't have done what he did. I mean, dude was in such bad shape. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for Chris Benoit as well in that whole situation. I also look at Chris Benoit. If the evidence that's been presented to us is factual, going on the basis that it is, then I almost treat Chris Benoit as an equal victim. That's not something a lot of people are going to admit to saying. And that's because of the brain, man. When it's damaged, and I mean it's damaged, and you can prove that, CTS, it's hard to hold the guy accountable, in my opinion. Now, I know Paul Heyman's got a different take on that, and good for Paul Heyman. I would never argue with Paul Heyman or anybody else that shares his stance when they say, fuck that guy. Look what he did. Hey, don't get me wrong, but as a Christian, you may be able to relate with this. Hate the sin, not the sinner. I don't think Chris Benoit acted out of maliciousness, out of some deep, dark evilness, even though what was done was absolutely the epitome of it. But the root, the trigger, even his own son doesn't hold his own father with the disgust that a lot of people do when it comes to Chris Benoit. I wouldn't even go as far as saying I'm disappointed in him. Because he had the fucking CTS. He had the brain of like a 90-year-old. And it's a proven fact that it completely alters your whole makeup, your whole being. And you can do some atrocious things out of character that you normally wouldn't do. As simple as that. Like I said, whether people agree or not, I could give a shit. I'm not looking to change anybody's mind. My opinion on the Chris Benoit situation, he didn't do what he did, right, out of evil intentions or revenge. That's right. He's mentally in horrible shape, horrible brain dead. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, too. And there's, I don't want to get too dark here at the end of a gaming channel, but it's the end of the stream. I've been on for an hour. There's like nobody in here but you and I think. There's always going to be limits, though, of course. There's going to be limits. Yeah, there's always like a line. Where do you draw the line? And I think it's based on what I think is severe. I think someone like Hogan, it's pretty easy to forgive. Chris Benoit, if he was still alive, same thing. I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't him. His own son believes that to be true as well because of the CTS again. Definitely because of that. Let's be very clear. If there was no brain damage with Chris Benoit, I would be on the Paul Heyman side of fuck that guy. 6 ways from Sunday, 1 way from Monday. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, but because there is evidence of it. That's why I made the big bold claim that I look at Chris Benoit practically as equally a victim to that whole situation. Right? But if you go to an extreme like Hitler, fuck that guy. That's a very quick fuck that guy. You know what I mean? That's, again, very extreme. Very, very extreme. But it's just to show you that I do have, of course, limits on, oh yeah, he's fine. Logan Paul, he's fine. In the end, it's not like he fucking murdered those people in Japan. They killed themselves. He was just a fucking dingus and went around recording himself in the forest with them. That pales in comparison to, again, an extreme, like a Jeffrey Dahmer. Is a weird one, which we could touch base on another day, because that guy came to Christ in the end, didn't he? Jeffrey Dahmer. If it's to be believed that he was sincere. And I'm just saying, sometimes a lot of Christians, they're very quick to judge, poke, but they're not so easy to forgive when someone is seeking for that forgiveness. Whereas if we are to believe the story of Jesus, he was very, very quick to accept and give forgiveness if it was, genuine, because he could see your heart. You can't bullshit him. You know what I mean? You could bullshit me, you can't bullshit Jesus. Okay? So maybe that's why it was easier for him to do it. But in essence, that's what in theory, what you're supposed to do. If somebody's genuinely, giving themselves over and they're seeking repentance, in theory, no matter what it is, you're supposed to technically accept them and welcome them with open arms. I don't know too many fucking people that would welcome Jeffrey with open arms, And I get it. I mean, it's like the whole thing speaks for itself. Right? But it's fun to talk about that stuff because they're all big extremes, and it's like, where do you draw the line? Right? Jeffrey Dahmer, I think, truly felt horrible for his actions. I think Dahmer could be in hell. Yeah, I do too. Well, no, it's true. Yeah. That's the one lesson from the Bible. The severity of your sins are irrelevant. Right? Once Jesus takes the burden of your sins and he cleanses you of it. It doesn't matter what you've done. When you think like a human, it matters. Oh my God, you know, say a guy killed one person versus 6 million. That's monumentally, astronomically beyond words how much more horrible one is over the other. But that's when you think like a human, right? In the long scheme of things, we're here for a blink of an eye for how long the universe has been around. And yeah, you know, it's like I said, from case to case. I think Hitler's the epitome of an example of an atrocious person who did something atrocious, and who loosely you would think would have to be crazy, would have to be mental to do such a thing, right? But at the same time, I think he was wired properly in the sense of, I think he was just evil. You know, because a lot of times we want to blame mental illness, right? We want to be like, oh, he did this. He must have been crazy. He must be mentally ill. But not everybody that's mentally ill is capable of all those things, right? Sometimes there are people out there, they're wired properly, but they just do evil things. They're fully aware of what they're doing. Just like in the case of Jeffrey Dahmer, right? In that final interview with his father, he said, look at my brother. My brother turned out fine. My father, my mother raised me, loved me, Christian home, no abuse. Don't look at them, because that's another thing a lot of people do in society. You have one bad apple, we always blame the tree, the parents. Sure, the influence for sure is there. But you can't always just use that as the end-all be-all. Right? And the Dahmer one's a very intriguing one again because of his brother turned out just completely perfectly fine. Dahmer said, I'm sound of mind. I am well aware of what I'm doing. Not a lot of people will admit that again. Right? So... all right, I'm going to have to go in a minute, but I'll read like my hardcore Christian friend looks at me, no judging or anything, but he said you should avoid Slipknot, yeah, for example, because he's demonic. When it's really not. If I'm being honest, yeah, Corey is an atheist. Do I hate him for that? Absolutely not. I look at someone from the heart. Oh, of course. There's some awful Christians and some amazing atheists, and the story I think I shared with you the other day of somebody I knew that was a frickin' Satanist. He just believes that everybody's their own god. That was their philosophy as a Satanist. They weren't worshiping demons. Yeah, and that's, you know what I mean? And as a Christian too, you know, we're just called to be a light to the world. To walk like Christ did. And by doing that and not strong-arming people into Christianity, it's supposed to have a natural attraction. Oh, this guy's a bit different. How is he able to forgive this guy or just be so calm and grounded and just let bygones be bygones? What's up with that guy? Then they come to you and they go, hey, what's up with you? And I've had that done before. Not a million times, but I've had it happen. And I go, well, there's nothing special about me, but, you know, I do try to be a decent Christian. And they go, okay, what's that about? Not like I'm an expert at explaining it, but I try to. And that's the more natural way of how I think it should be. Because I've told you this in closing. I'm against religion. I believe in a higher power. Yeah, Jesus Christ, I hate that Christian judge everyone and everything. Yeah. So speaking of that right there, I think one of the biggest things I hate in the entire world is the fact that as a Christian, the people that I've had the biggest quarrels with the biggest heated debates with were fellow Christians. And to me, that's sad. Shouldn't it be the other way around? But no, it isn't. The people, the vast majority of the people that I have gotten along with the most aren't even Christian, because most of the ones that I meet that got the cross in their profile and God first and this, that, and the other thing, they're the farthest thing from a Christian. Oh, you believe in Biden, you believe in the Antichrist. Holy Jesus Christ, here we go. Oh, you don't think Trump is the anointed one like Moses was holy fuck. No, I don't believe that. I'm just being real. It's funny, it's ironic that the group of people you would think I can relate to and mingle with the greatest of ease are actually the ones I've had the biggest issues with, because they are some of the most maybe not narcissistic, but sometimes judgmental people. And that's why I had to walk away from my church up the street. I used to go to a church, do Bible study. It was fantastic. I met some wonderful people. Wonderful people. The best people. Right? Like how Trump says it. And, but it was too hardcore. Just like those hardcore political people. If you don't like their person, even if you don't badmouth them and argue with them, and you just go, oh yeah, I don't like that guy so much, but whatever, you can like him, whatever. Religion is one of those things that can be very serious to people. And to me, I don't want to just talk to people that are on board. I want to talk to people that are off the board, under the board, you know what I mean? All people. I don't even give a shit what someone's into as long as it's not hurting anybody. They're into a religion, they're not into one. I don't care. How are you as an individual? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just hating somebody because you don't understand or don't agree with their philosophy, with their views in life, has got to be one of the biggest brain dead things that you can ever do. Honestly, it's just insane. I feel like my cheeks are going to fall off because of my piriformis syndrome or sciatica nerve issue that I have. I think I've explained that to you before. I got into a nasty car accident some quarter of a century ago on Christmas Eve. And ever since then, that's when I messed up my shoulder, even though it's stronger than it's ever been. And anyways, around that time, I think I did something. And when I sit in a chair, even a very comfortable one for a long time, my right glute, it just gets like that dull, achy, throbbing pain. And then as soon as I stand up, it goes away. But yeah. Hey, you too, man. And like I said, it's cool to, you know, sometimes just like this, just to chat, hang out, be a little bit off topic. Because no offense, there wasn't 1,000 people in here, you know what I mean? If there would have been 1,000 or even 50 people in here, I may not have been able to do this kind of back and forth. There would have been so many people talking about different things, and you know what I mean? So in some ways, these can be pretty cool live streams, but in some others, for the sake of money, not so much, right? But it's still fun. Anyhow, I'm glad that you had a great time at Comic-Con. I'm jealous. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. And, yeah, we'll keep in touch as always. And I will see you, and I think nobody else is in here, at some point soon. Take care.